What's up, you guys? Welcome back to 10 Million in 10 Months. I'm Kim, CEO and co-founder of Listener Brands, where we own both CurlMix and 4C Only. And today I'm going to be talking about how to pivot your failing business. This is such a tough topic because people who need to pivot are sensitive about it. And you really just need to own it. You know what you've been doing for the last year or so is not successful, and it's time to do something different. And for a lot of people, that can be really, really tough. But before we get into that conversation, go ahead and click subscribe below so you guys can get updates on my weekly videos and my revenue check-ins. And I'll be sharing my revenue number very, very soon for quarter to date. And I know you guys want to hear about it. So go ahead and click subscribe. All right, you guys, let's get started. So just a little bit of background about me. I consider myself to have 3 failures under my belt. 3 failed companies, right? The first one was the niche social network that I started called the Natural Hair Academy, where it was an online social network for women with natural hair. We were posting content daily, and we were also trying to build a community around natural hair. The problem was people didn't really want to they wanted a place to showcase their own journey, and they had no reason to come back to my app every single day, right? It was a thing you sign up for, and then after that, you're like, okay, what am I doing? Oh, I can post in this forum about my hair, but that was pretty much it. Things like Instagram won more because you can showcase yourself on a platform. It was more about your following, your followers. And I couldn't quite replicate that because I was trying to compete with Facebook, and Facebook's a multi-billion-dollar company. I could not really compete with them with no actual financing, right? A bootstrapped niche social network. That was my first failure. My second failure was my photography business. I was charging dirt cheap prices, and I'm talking like $25, $50 a shoot. And I had no professional training. So I was like learning on the fly. I didn't even have like the best equipment. And I really was learning how to edit based on YouTube videos, which is okay. But I needed to put more time into it. I was only doing it maybe halfway. And if you're going to have that kind of business, you can't be charging dirt cheap prices, but you also need to invest in professional education where someone's actually a photographer and they are walking you through their edits. And there's a lot, and now you have to figure out a niche, right? Like, you don't want to just be taking photos for all your friends and family. Maybe you do commercials. Maybe you do documentaries. Maybe I shoot headshots like Peter Hurley, and all he does now, he charges, I think, $10,000-$20,000 for his headshots. That is his lane, right? Or maybe you do magazine editorial photography, or maybe you only do lifestyle, or maybe like I was doing everything. It didn't matter. I was like, I could do it, I could try it. And in the beginning, you do that. But I really needed to figure out my offer. What was the thing that I did well? Was I only doing weddings? Was I only doing portraits? Was I only doing influencers? I didn't really know. And so that I considered a failed business because I never quite figured out how to make enough money for myself in that business, right? And then my third failed business was CurlMix as a do-it-yourself subscription box, right? I talk all the time about how we pivoted and revenue was flat for 2 years, and we were losing so much money in that business, but it helped catapult us to CurlMix 2.0, where we have this 4-step system to help women get this hairstyle. So I say all this to say I know a bit about pivoting, and I know what you need to ask yourself and how to decide that you need to pivot, okay? The first question you need to ask yourself if you think you need to pivot is, why is my business dying, right? Are your customers not repeat purchasing, right? Coming back within, 3 to 6 months to buy it again? Are your margins not good enough the first time you provide the service? So for our DIY boxes, our margins are only 30%, but typical hair care products in the industry are 70 to 90%. So that means that even if I could scale it, I shouldn't, right? Because my margins aren't there. Is it a vitamin and not a painkiller? Is it just fun to do, but it's not actually solving anyone's real problem today? What do they call it? A compelling case for customer. The person's not trying to snatch it out of your hand to get it, right? Why is your business dying? Answer that question. Now, if it's because it's marketing and sales and you just don't know anything about that, and you haven't invested any ad money, you haven't invested in any design or a website, that's a different conversation. But let's say you've tried all the things you think you've tried, and you're still not seeing that snowball effect when your business gets bigger and better and it starts to take off and roll downhill, then I would question, why is it dying, right? For me, the niche social network, no one was coming back every day. There was no reason for my business to be a native app on your phone, right? It was novelty. Again, the photography business, I wasn't good enough at taking photos. Honestly, I had the natural eye, but I did not have the systems in place to get better. I also didn't have a pricing model that made sense. I also didn't have a niche, something I focused on that people knew me for. So when they wanted a documentary, they knew to come to Kim. Or when they wanted a studio editorial photo, they come to Kim. Or a lifestyle photo or family photo. I wasn't known for any of those things. And then my third business, again, novelty and not necessity. My best customers had started to unsubscribe. And I was 2 years in. So I was like, dang it, my business is dying and my margins are bad. I should do something different. So that's how I knew I needed to pivot. So ask yourself, why is it dying? And once you have that answer, ask yourself, am I a painkiller or a vitamin? Is this novelty or is this necessity? And you know, whatever your gut answer is, right? If your best customers are unsubscribing, that tells you all that you need to know. The next question I would ask myself is, what is your number one seller? Even though your business is dying, the people who are coming back, they're coming back for one thing and one thing only. What is it? For me, by the time I was like more seasoned in photography, I realized I was good at taking portrait style headshots. And so, but I was good at lifestyle headshots, not studio headshots. There's a difference. And so I started to kind of like pivot to that, but also kind of figuring out CurlMix at the same time. And so I ended up just not doing the photography thing at all. But I knew what I was really good at. For CurlMix, it was our flaxseed gel. That was the one thing that we did different than everyone else, and the one box that people kept coming back to. Even though they'd unsubscribe, they'd still buy the flaxseed gel kit over and over and over again. And so I was like, maybe this is what we should pivot to. And that's what we pivoted to and found tons of success. We went from $150,000 in annual revenue to $1 million in annual revenue. And the margins were 70 to 80% on the flaxseed gel, whereas that box was 30%. So I found the one thing that people kept coming back to me for, right? And once you know that one thing, my next piece of advice is to go all in on the one thing. So we didn't try to launch the flaxseed gel, then launch a shampoo and a conditioner and all these things in the same year. We focused on the flaxseed gel. We launched versions of the flaxseed gel. We had 5 different versions. We found something that paired really well with it to increase the average order value. And that is what we sold that year. And we became known for flaxseed gel. We started ranking on Google for flaxseed gel. We started ranking on Amazon for flaxseed gel. We built a hairstyle or focused on a hairstyle around our flaxseed gel. So we literally went all in on that one particular thing. And then once we were able to do that and acquire customers more affordably, all right, because maybe we were spending, if you don't know who you're talking to, right, and you're trying to sell them things that churn or people aren't buying, that's an expensive customer to acquire. You might be spending $80 a customers. But when we dropped down to flaxseed gel and focused on that one thing, the person who was searching flaxseed gel was surely going to find us, right? And so that means it's cheaper to market to them, cheaper to acquire them as a customer. So that might have been a $20 customer acquisition cost or a $30 acquisition cost, which is much cheaper than $80, right? So find that one thing, double down on it, go all in until you hit $1 million. And then that's when I say, okay, now you can start expanding and building upon that one thing that you're really, really good for. So let's say you have a cleaning agency, right? You can clean commercial buildings, you can clean businesses, you can clean houses, you can clean parks, you can clean whatever, right? Let's say you do a really, 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 really good job at cleaning commercial offices. And people have been calling you back and forth for that, right? But maybe you're a general cleaning business. Cut out the rest of it. Focus on getting commercial clients and focusing on cleaning offices, right? And then once you have, 10 or so, and you're doing $1 million annually for your cleaning business for commercial offices, now you can say, okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of that money and invest in a house cleaning division of our business. Okay, I get to 2 or 3 million. Okay, now I'm gonna invest in cleaning car dealerships or whatever, right? But you have to be known for something to break through the noise. So for me, my industry is very saturated. People will tell you, you don't need to start a natural haircut business. There's enough of us out there. But I focus on flaxseed gel that gives you a wash and go. And at the time, that was innovative. Now, I've actually had to pivot a little bit. I didn't have to throw away my whole business, but I had to pivot from just wash and goes because everyone saw that we were making money doing that. Now everyone's focusing on wash and goes, right? So I have to figure out how can I build on that? Can I do a lock box? Can I do a twist out box? Can I do all these other things to tap into these other markets, right? And you have to do that once you get to about 6 million, or so in revenue. We're going to hopefully do 10 million this year, you guys. 10 million in 10 months. But that's when you start to expand. In the beginning, you do a bunch of stuff that doesn't scale, that doesn't make money because you don't know what you're doing. But once you do know, double down, go all in. And that, my dear, is how you pivot your business. I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. And be sure to tune into 10 million in 10 months in our next video. And go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Kim Lewis CEO. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.